Sony is currently in the mood for remastering not classic titles, but games released in the previous generation, giving their old titles huge bumps in performance and graphical fidelity for the PlayStation 5. Back in 2022, we got remasters for Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man and the first The Last of Us game dubbed The Last of Us Part 1, and during the start of this year, in January, we got a remaster of The Last of Us Part 2. These remasters were made to specifically take advantage of the new and more powerful hardware of the PlayStation 5, bringing some of PlayStation's most notable PS4 titles over to the next generation. And just at the end of October, the Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered finally hits the market, giving the game some very noticeable enhancements to its performance and visuals, making it closer to its 2022 sequel, Horizon Forbidden West. Hey folks, this is Leaf, and today on TMG, we will be taking a look at Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. I played the first 3 hours of Horizon Zero Dawn in both the original version and in the remaster in order to see how the remaster's updated graphics compare to the original. Right off the bat, we can instantly observe how the remastered version's character models look a lot more detailed and crisp, especially when looked at up close. The new lighting effects also make the game look closer to Forbidden West, giving this natural glow to characters that's more noticeable during cutscenes and in dialogue. While higher fidelity character models are much appreciated, I do like that Nixes took the opportunity to improve the animations of NPCs that populate the world. In the original, I often observed these NPCs being quite stiff and lifeless, even barely making any hand gestures or any noticeable body language whenever they talk to Aloy. This has been significantly improved in the remaster, and NPCs now show a lot more personality, having generally better body language and better facial expressions that results in more natural looking conversations. With this subtle improvement to Horizon Zero Dawn, the remaster takes the interactions between characters closer to that of the sequels. However, the lip syncing still leaves much to be desired, as both games had these moments where the lip syncing felt off on multiple occasions.
I guess you didn't find them up there?
Not with the Banuk wailing about new machines and talking spirits and their purses frozen shut. What's a trade route without trade? It's just a route.
The environmental details have significantly been improved, with the game's locations feeling a lot more realistic and natural, which is especially noticeable in lush forests, snowy mountains, and rocky terrains. This is mostly due to the remaster not only enhancing the game's textures, but also adding a higher level of density to the details of every area in the game. The snow effects from the original's Frozen Wilds DLC now also affects all of the game's snowy locations, making the surrounding snow visually affect the characters as they tread along the game's snowy locales. A tiny little detail, but still a pretty nice touch. All of these elements reinvigorate the world of Horizon Zero Dawn, creating absolutely jaw-dropping visuals and locations that feel ever so alive. And while Horizon Forbidden West still has the best-looking in-game environments for today's standards, Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered brings the original's environmental quality and graphical fidelity closer to its sequel. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered's improved details and textures are further enhanced with a newer lighting system similar to the one seen in Horizon Forbidden West. The game's lighting can be observed bouncing off of environments, penetrating through forest canopies, and even a seamless daytime cycle that naturally shifts the lighting depending on the time of day. Reflections have also been significantly improved, making terrain elements and certain objects look even more realistic. But even more amazing than the obvious improvement to the visuals is the fact that the game's performance remains consistent depending on the graphical setting that you select, despite the enormous leap of graphics from the original. Performance mode sits at a consistent 60 FPS despite all of the graphical improvements and additional assets. The quality mode, while locked at 30 FPS, delivers higher resolutions with better visual fidelity. There's also a balance mode, locking the frame rate to a stable 40 FPS, serving as the middle ground between quality and performance, but is only available for displays that support the feature. Another pretty welcome addition to the game are more accessibility options, letting players fine-tune their gaming experience in even more ways compared to the original. If you've played Horizon Forbidden West, then you're probably going to be familiar with the game's accessibility features, considering that it was simply ported in from the sequel. Given the remastered accessibility options such as setting the amount of guidance, lessening the amount of HUD elements including turning it off completely, removing the pickup animations entirely, removing the time slow effect when navigating the weapon wheel, and there are also various difficulty modifiers, and so much more. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is no doubt a significant technical and visual improvement to the original. However, as for the gameplay mechanics and the content, the game stays relatively the same, though the remaster ropes in the original game's only DLC, the Frozen Wilds. Aside from that, there aren't really any noticeable adjustments to the gameplay, the AI, the balance, nor any new exclusive content whatsoever. It's still the same exact post-apocalyptic game filled with mechanical beasts and tribal human settlements and a thriving world filled with unique threats and breathtaking wonders. Though I have to say that I had an absolute blast revisiting the first game, and its amazing open world still holds up today. But the thing is, playing through the remaster only made me thoroughly appreciate the sequel even more, as I found myself missing some of the gameplay features of Horizon Forbidden West, particularly the ability to glide, considering that I often found myself wanting to jump off the game's high places. Traversal in Horizon Forbidden West had been improved so much that Horizon Zero Dawn's traversal systems, or lack thereof, felt extremely limiting. The game's melee combat also remains the game's weakest point, as using the spear still feels pretty awkward considering that there are no combo strings or unique attacks that make Aloy deadly when getting up close and personal. The available melee attacks just aren't as impactful as one might think, to the point where my main strategy consisted of preventing enemies from closing in on me as much as possible. The melee system was also my biggest criticism when I reviewed the original game back in 2017, and that still remains to be the case in the remaster. The ranged combat with Aloy's bow, on the other hand, still remains as one of the biggest highlights of the game's combat. There's just something alluring with meticulously planning how you'll tackle a herd of mechanical beasts, assessing their weaknesses, setting traps, and creating the perfect kill zone that will let you come out of the encounter completely unscathed. The intricate designs of the different robotic enemies still remains as the strongest point of why the gameplay loop is so much fun from start to finish. The way you're able to break off parts of an enemy machine's body, forcing it to change its actions and behavior, and watching as it slowly breaks down, its movements eventually become sluggish, and then finally landing the finishing blow on the already defeated enemy is truly such a satisfying hunting encounter, and the game absolutely nails that. The open world is pretty textbook, with a world populated with bandit camps, puzzles, and even collectibles that rewards the players who are always eager to explore every nook and cranny of the game's massive map. And the game's world has a decent amount of content outside the main story, like activities and side quests that will surely satisfy your inner completionists. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered is easily the best way to experience Horizon Zero Dawn. However, I am reluctant to entertain the idea that the remastered version completely makes the original PS4 release obsolete. That is because if you end up getting your hands on the original game, I genuinely think that you'll still be impressed at what Guerrilla Games had delivered. This version of the game simply gives veteran players a reason to revisit the original, as well as provide newer fans of the series a more up-to-date experience to be introduced to the Horizon universe. So if you're simply looking to experience Horizon Zero Dawn in the next generation consoles, then you really won't be disappointed. Furthermore, I do appreciate that Sony is giving owners of the original game an offer to upgrade to the remaster for only $10 on the PS5, and I hope they keep doing this for future remasters, just like in this game and in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. The price for the upgrade is a very reasonable offering despite not having any additional content aside from the upgraded visuals and performance. The upgrade also doesn't exactly make the original game look identical to the sequel's visual and technical quality, but it definitely is an improvement. But at least when you ever decide to play the original game for the very first time and play the sequel straight after, you won't get whiplashed by the massive gap of graphical quality. For those who are new to the series, I highly recommend that you start with this game, considering that Horizon Zero Dawn's story is arguably better than its sequel. Also, being the first game of the series, Horizon Zero Dawn is simply the perfect entry point in introducing you to the Horizon universe. The start of Aloy's journey mirrors the player's perspective, as you'll both be experiencing the wonders and dangers of the world of Horizon for the very first time, resulting in this extremely immersive and truly unique experience. Zero Dawn's pacing is simply better suited for new players, as they won't be overwhelmed with too much information, leaving enough room for mysteries and the bigger picture to slowly unfold. And it's essentially the perfect place to start to be able to fully enjoy Aloy's journey in the sequel. And with that, we are giving Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered a fantastic score of 4 out of 5. So what do you folks think about this remaster? Be sure to let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And for more gaming news and reviews, make sure to subscribe to TMG, because you can never have too much gaming. This has been Leaf, and I'll see you guys on the next one.